Is that good or bad?
We're still playing with the timer. Hold on a second. My turn.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, come on. I hit it. It was too fast. Are we recording right now?
Yes. That was so fast.
Sorry.
You're faster than the computer.
Playing with the timer. OnlineStopwatch.com.
Manhands and Meatloaf, episode the 5th. We begin today with a praise report.
It's Cinco de Manhands.
It is Cinco de Manhands, but that's not my praise report.
Oh.
Though. My praise report is that you are back at this table.
I'm back.
Good to have you here. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you. Thanks for all the warm thoughts and helpful prayers. And let me also give a shout out to the power of Listerine.
Yuck.
I am on a strict regimen of Listerine. When I feel myself getting sick,
You do Listerine.
like I did a few days ago,
Yeah.
I could feel the sinus drainage happening. Just throat was a little sore. Could feel it in my mouth. I start Listerining.
Right. 2 tablespoons every 4 hours with
Whatever,
your meal.
like most of a capful
You
is.
drink it straight? You don't even gargle it. Just drink it.
No. But you have to keep it in there for at least 30 seconds, sometimes longer. I keep it in there till the burn stops. Yeah. And I can feel it. I mean,
Which is
it
also
burns the fire out of your mouth. And when you're sick,
Right.
my mouth burns even more because it's the germs being killed.
I hope to God someone takes that completely out of context. I hope they just find us on... Oh, which brings me to a point. We're on YouTube now.
I hope they don't.
Manhands and Meatloaf. Hope they find us on YouTube and just click right there. And
Every 2 hours, I use Listerine.
So I'm glad you're feeling better. And let me
And it
say,
helped.
too...
I never got strep throat, never got a sore throat.
Good. You just sounded... You
Just
had very
sounded
white
weird.
itis.
My whole body ached, headaches, but avoided throat problems.
It was good to have my brother Chris and our friend Mike Nitz with us for episode 4B, a really kind of music-intensive conversation. I know you were quite under the weather, or at least sounded kind of tired then.
I sounded kind of odd.
And
I had that weird voice. I probably still have a little bit of the voice now.
A little bit.
I still a little bit of the voice. But if there's a plus to being sick and having the low, raspy voice, is that you can do impressions
Right.
that you cannot otherwise do.
For example.
You can sing Johnny Cash songs.
Right.
I've already lost it some, but there was like a day
Yeah.
I was like
You hit
hitting Johnny Cash.
Ring of Fire.
It was going down, down, down.
It reminds me of, remember that episode of Friends where Phoebe gets a cold and she sounds really good? Everybody likes her. And she's singing Smelly Cat and people are like, oh, that's great. And then she clears her throat and it goes away.
Yeah.
And she's trying to get a cold.
Johnny Cash was fun. I also enjoyed doing Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars.
That's pretty
The
good.
First Galactic Empire.
Yeah, you're right. It's gone now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's not the same.
Sorry.
But I was there with you. Anyways, good to have you back.
Yes,
It really is.
thank
This is a lot of fun. So we're going to go in. We're going to jump right in with, we're going to talk church
got?
business.
Okay.
Right?
Which church?
Not the one you might think of. We're going to
Okay.
talk, popes. aren't we?
The Pope.
So we're going to start here, though. This will probably broadcast sometime around the end of February. So it's been, what, a week?
Maybe so.
2, that Pope Benedict has made the statement that he's going to resign.
Yeah.
He is tired and frail and can't execute his office. So shocked the world. Mm-hmm. Shocked particularly the world's 1 billion Roman Catholics, but I think everybody else too, church watchers, if you will.
Surprised because, this is the first time in several hundred years that a pope has resigned. I mean, usually they pass away, and so they have to choose one.
So the last one to resign, he did so to heal some schismatic issue.
I don't remember.
But I think before that, just the last pope to resign simply for the sake of resigning, or because they didn't think they could, or whatever, I think is longer than almost a millennium.
It's a long, long time. Yeah. But I think it's a good thing that he's doing this.
So do you? That's what I was wondering, because the wife and I were talking about it, and I think it surprised me because this pope, when he was elected, was such a strong voice for particular, I guess you could say, school of thought within the church, and he seemed really tenacious, both in thought and in practice. And I was really surprised to see him not reverse, but kind of go to this place where he felt like he didn't have the strength either intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, physically.
Yeah.
So it just really surprised me. So I think ultimately it is good if it is simply a matter of, I guess maybe the grace of humility to realize it's his time. But then there are those conspiracy theorists who are saying,
I don't know what I think. I think he is trying to set a precedent in modern times that popes are going to live longer because of medical advances, and they're going to live longer. And, I mean, as beloved as Pope John Paul II was, towards the end, he was just kind of beloved, but waiting for him to pass.
Right. If he had not been the Pope, he'd have been just a doddering old man who kind of was in his...
So I think he wants to set the precedent that it's okay to resign when there's those kind of reasons and let somebody younger and more aware and those kind of things.
Which is interesting. You mentioned Pope John Paul II, and I've mentioned in other conversations what it was like growing up in my home with regard to politics and stuff. But I grew up in an evangelical Pentecostal home, and I remember vividly that Pope John Paul II was highly revered in my home. My dad was a huge fan of him. I think because, and I didn't have this understanding as a child and then young man, but I think as far as popes go in terms of the last 70, 80 years, he was, I think, one of the most charismatic. And I mean that to say theologically and also just his personality. And I think even though he did make some pretty conservative statements about, the true church, etc., I think he made some efforts to reach across, for lack of a better term, party lines. I really liked Pope John Paul II. I loved him.
Yeah, I did too.
Do
you know who the Pope was when you were born?
76. So would that be, let's see, Pope John Paul II, I think he succeeded someone who... That'd be John 1.
He succeeded John Paul I, who was only pope for like 3 months.
Right.
Passed away. And so he's continuing John Paul's ministry. But prior to him,
Pope
Paul VI.
Paul VI, okay.
Yeah. Yes. So do you know so we're talking about popes, and my curiosity, I have a real interest in names and name etymologies.
Yeah.
And so I'm as curious to find out what name the next pope will choose.
Absolutely.
I am.
Yeah.
Because the name they choose kind of talks about what kind of pope they hope to be.
Right.
Of course, this one chose Benedict.
Benedict
Latin.
the 13th or 17th?
The 16th.
16th. I was wrong on both. Okay.
Lots of Benedicts. Because he's the teacher of the church. Benedict to speak well or to teach well, and so. Ratzinger was often sometimes called the Rottweiler of the church. He was very dogmatic in some of his teaching, so that was his legacy he wanted to leave. Anyway, I'm curious what the name will be, and doing a little research. Do you know the most common pope names?
Okay, so off the top of my head, a few come to mind.
I've got 8 listed here that have happened quite often. The 8 most common pope names.
Okay, so I'm going to go with the easy ones first.
Okay.
John and Paul. Are they in the top 8?
John is in the top 8. Paul is not.
Okay, so John. Then I'm going to go with Clement.
Yes, Clement 14 times. John 23 times.
Holy cow.
Now this is including some of the anti-popes, the anti-popes. So those who were, long story, but there were more than one pope sometimes.
And then I'm going to go with Benedict.
Benedict 16 times.
And then I'm going to go with Pius.
Yes, Pius 12 times.
Which is, that makes sense. Let's see. So John, Clement, Benedict, Pius.
Yeah.
What's another one? How about Francis?
No.
No.
I don't think there is a Pope Francis.
How about...
There's never been a Francis.
Xavier?
No.
Really?
Never.
Okay, let's see. Paul, John, Peter.
There's only been one.
Then no one takes it after him because he was the first.
No one ever takes the second.
Yeah, I should have thought that one through.
In fact, there's supposed to be some kind of prophecy by like an obscure saint that says that if someone or when someone chooses the name Pope Peter II, the church will end.
What?
It brings about some kind of like cataclysmic ending to the church or the world, so they kind of steer away from that.
I should have thought that one through,
just to be safe. All
right, I'm going to take 3 more guesses, then you tell me.
Okay, yeah, because they could become.
I'm going to go Leo.
Yes, 13 times Leo.
Leo, we got Lion. So John Clement, Benedict Pius, Leo.
Yeah.
Gregory.
Gregory, look at you. No, 16 times. Gregory's number 3.
Yeah.
And they love some Gregory.
Yeah, they do. So I've not hit number 1 yet, have I?
John was
John was number 1, right.
John was number 1. Benedict, number 2. Gregory, Clement, and number 5 is what you're looking for.
I'm looking for number 5, which I'm going to go with Pope Andrew.
No, Innocent.
Oh, yes!
There's been 13 Pope Innocent.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So let's go from this then. I know.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
I was taking a look at your blog, mdmcmullin.com, and you listed some ideas for names you would take should you become, which you're a long shot, let's say at the outset, but...
Having never been confirmed Catholic, I am a long shot.
That would be like the ecclesial version of King Ralph.
I mean, I do have an appreciation for the Catholic Church, but I don't think I'm being
that'd be a fun call. Listen, I appreciate you asking, but I don't think my wife or family would want me to do this job. So I thought through if I was going to be the Pope, some names that I might choose, and why not Michael? Sure,
Never because been a Pope Michael,
right? Archangel,
biblical name,
prominent biblical figure.
Now, there is some weirdo like out in Kansas or something who claims to be like the true Pope. And I think he's chosen the name Michael.
So he's sullied it a little bit for you.
A bit, yeah. I may have to,
And we should say, to be completely fair in today's litigious society, an alleged weirdo.
Yeah, I mean that's not a theological term.
Okay, number 2.
Number 2, I've chosen Linus II.
I do like that.
I like it. Tell the way it sounds. Linus is supposedly Linus the First was the second pope. There is some dispute historically. I mean, those early popes. I mean, they all believe Peter to be the first, and then it's kind of Clement or Linus. There's a couple others that they kind of throw about. One source even hints that Linus may have actually been the first bishop of Rome, while Peter kind of oversaw all kinds of things.
Right. Watch yourself.
Be careful. But I let me affirm at this time, if anyone is watching, Illuminati or otherwise, I believe Peter to be the first bishop of Rome. So Linus would be cool.
Does it bother you that in our cultural context, Linus conjures images of
Charlie Brown,
popular cartoon?
No, that adds to it.
That adds to the luster of it.
I think for me, that adds to why I would choose the name Linus.
It fills out the picture a little bit. It's the full. Yeah, sure. 3.
I like it. Ignatius.
Oh, that's so good. Ignatius of Loyola is what I think of immediately.
Yes, I like that one. One of the founders of the Jesuits. I'm a big fan of Ignatius of Antioch.
Yes.
One of the first bishops there, disciple of John. That would be kind of fun. Ignatius.
I like that. That one sounds almost regal in a sense.
Doesn't
it? Sounds very, I like that.
Yeah, sounds good. Number 4 I picked was Xavier.
Oh, sure.
I'm a Jesuit fan.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
So,
and a good ball team.
Francis Xavier, one of the founders. So. Plus, I thought it would be fun to have the nickname Pope X.
Pope X would be really
kind of
cool.
An X-Men kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because you could even have your own, liturgical team.
Well, and you
travels with you. And it's the X-Men.
And you do
and women.
And you do wear a cape. Sometimes.
Yeah. You could really soup up the Pope outfit.
You have a little X everywhere. That'd be tight.
Yeah.
Now, how many more? Give me another one.
I'll go for an interesting one here. Let's see. I chose. How about John Luke the First? We had John Paul.
Right.
John Luke is nice. I love Star Trek.
Yes.
And Jean-Luc Picard is one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
But however, I'm not using the French spelling.
You're not doing Jean-Luc. You're doing John Luke, right?
Yeah, because there shouldn't be a French Pope.
Okay.
I'm just going to say that.
I think
French Canadian. I'm okay with.
I was going to say that. Yeah, there's a chance.
Yeah, the guy that may.
Is he a French Canadian or is he a Canadian?
I think French Canadians are Canadian.
Oh yeah, I think I just entered some deeper waters than I expected.
Yeah.
No offense, Québécois, if you're listening.
My last one. This is courtesy of my friend Nick Fugit. Great Pope name, Severus.
Oh, that is good. Yeah.
Yeah, Severus the First.
Yeah. That's good without the literary reference attached to it. Just it's a good name. But then one of the bravest men I've ever known was named Severus.
Severus Snape.
Yeah, Severus Snape.
There was like a Severinus Pope.
Oh, was there?
Yeah, it's similar.
Huh.
But anyway, you could be Cardinal Albus if I If I become
oh my
Pope,
gosh, I would never presume to be that wise.
I'll make you
yeah,
a cardinal if it happens.
maybe Aberforth.
Yeah, mark it down.
Okay, I'll be Cardinal Aberforth.
If I become the Pope, I will make you a cardinal.
Sweet.
I'll do whatever it has to happen.
I think I'd be a really good cardinal. Yeah, because I don't mind that sort of supporting role. I like that, and plus I like the red. I look good.
Yeah,
I look good in red, and I'd love to be. One thing I really enjoy doing every year is watching midnight mass, Christmas Eve midnight mass.
Do you?
From St. Peter's every year? Yeah. Because I always enjoy watching the College of Cardinals come in. I'm looking forward to, because growing up I was kind of what would you call the Catholic version of an Anglophile? Roma Catholic?
A lover of Jesus? A Christian?
I was a big fan. I was sort of fascinated by Catholicism growing up.
I was too. I grew up in a very Catholic area. Went to a Catholic school for a little while.
Yeah.
So we were doing mass a couple times a week for.
I'm looking forward to the conclave.
Yeah.
And to hearing, Habemus, Papam. I'm excited about that. Probably more excited than I should be. I should try and get out of it and do some more things. But I think it'll be fun.
I think it'll be really interesting to see what kind of statement they want to make as far as, will they kind of continue in the tradition of Ratzinger, or will they go someone totally different? I mean, will they stick with the European?
So
I did
hear this. Every cardinal in the College of Cardinals, who obviously, for those who don't know, are the ones who are going to decide who becomes the next pope. Every single cardinal has been nominated or made a cardinal by either John Paul II or Pope Benedict.
Really?
Which is to say, it's a pretty conservative College of Cardinals, and so I think from what I hear, there's a good chance that it'll be an Italian.
That's interesting. Maybe. There's not a cardinal.
No one predates John Paul II. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and as we've alluded to, there is actually a front runner, so to speak, who is from North America, from Canada. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be interesting.
To have a pope who is English speaker, firstly, and from North America.
I mean, he's lived there in Rome, though.
Yeah. Right? I don't think it'll happen. I think it's a super duper long shot. But it'd be fun.
I think they're going to go Italian again.
I do too. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll Pope Watch 2013. Well, I'm sure we'll revisit the topic in the future.
We need to make a graphic for that.
For Pope Watch 2013.
Yeah, Pope Watch
like Fox News.
2013. Why aren't they covering this like that? You think it should be like the presidential election, like every 5 minutes there's breaking news.
Which I suppose they probably are in parts of Europe.
Well, maybe so.
Yeah, probably so.
If you're in Rome right now.
So let's come back home for a little bit.
Yeah, let's do that.
I asked you this, I think.
You can always come back home.
You can always, no matter how far you go. I think I asked you this off air the other day, and again, this will be a couple weeks after the fact, but I'm still curious. You did not watch the State of the Union address.
I didn't watch it.
But you did read the text of the speech? Is that what I understood?
No, I looked at some of the highlights. I looked at some highlights. Some of the people were commenting on it the day of the speech, before it even happened.
Right.
They were already endorsing or renouncing parts of his speech.
Let me ask you this. Did you follow the speech on Twitter?
A little bit. I kind of turned it off though because I didn't want. I was kind of already not feeling well.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah.
That night, and so I wasn't that interested. And I really enjoy politics, but like sometimes I have to just turn it off.
Why?
I mean, I can go ahead and predict what they're going to do. He's going to say some things, and half the room is going to boo him and not stand up and look, upset and offended that he even, thought something like this. And the other half of the room is going to stand up and applaud as though he's
Lori, my wife, said almost the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That in a way, and Woodrow Wilson was the president to bring it back, because it used to be the president would send a letter to the Capitol. I think Washington or Jefferson gave speeches, and it stopped somewhere around there.
Yeah.
It used to be just a letter. Then I think Woodrow Wilson brought it back to a public speech, and then eventually televised, etc. So it is kind of this tradition, but you're right. No matter who the president is and who has control, although I guess it doesn't matter. No matter who controls, whether it's the same party as the president, there's going to be half of the House that stands up and half that doesn't.
Imagine, and I think this is the effects of television on political speeches. Imagine if the State of the Union was not televised,
but just broadcast over radio, for example.
Right, and so people wouldn't be maybe as concerned with image. Maybe John Boehner wants to applaud something, but he can't because he realizes it's on television. And if he stands up or applauds or looks anything beyond, angry,
right,
then his party is all over him for supporting the president. And the same with a lot of those other people that, and maybe the president himself would, would certain things even get mentioned if he realized that no one was watching.
Which it's funny, I can tell you, since you didn't watch, that Boehner did, regardless of how you feel about either party or any person in either party, he did a very good job of looking very angry the whole time.
Good.
So job well done.
Is he still orange?
Yeah, decidedly. Yeah, and I think, I'm not positive, but Vice President Biden was wearing these really cool reading glasses, and I
heard
think
something wrong with his eye, though. He had like a blood vessel.
He did. I think he looked like a cyborg, in my opinion.
Kind of evil, yeah.
But I think either his glasses reflected the color of his tie, or his reading glasses coordinated with his tie, which is even cooler because he looked a little bit like Vice President Bono.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they had this shade.
Kind of rose color?
Yeah. We and Jonah and I, our producer, and who happens also to do double duty as my son, we talked about it because every time he put the glasses on, they looked like they were tinted, but he was looking down. And,
that's great.
Yeah, but it was really quite cool. But yeah, I enjoyed the speech. There's one, I don't want to get too political. We don't have a whole lot of time, and we've been there. But there's one bit of the speech that I thought was really good. And it got more attention than I thought it would. I guess I never really thought it through because my kids are older, but President Obama proposed or stated that he felt like it'd be important for there to be universal access to preschool. Did you hear about this?
Yeah.
When he said it, I thought, oh, that makes really good sense. And does everybody not? I mean, maybe that highlights kind of my detachment from some of the realities that other folks face, because both my children had access to preschool, went to preschool at a church we worked at. But does that strike you as being kind of revolutionary, or even does it strike you as being something the government shouldn't be involved in? Did it get your attention either way? Because I was mostly interested by the fact that I watched Charlie Rose after that night, and people talked about that particular part of the speech more than I thought they would.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard a lot on the minimum wage stuff.
But
The preschool thing, I mean, I guess I'm okay with people having access to it. I don't know that I want there to be like some type of requirement.
Like compulsory.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, education might be a nice topic to pick up for a future podcast.
Should we... Wait for it.
Maybe so.
Should we put a pin in that?
If you'd like to.
So we should put a pin in education in the broader context. But I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think most Americans, would get a bit nervous at certain things being compulsory, things that aren't.
Yeah.
But as I understood it, I think his point was to make the possibility of preschool real for everybody.
Yeah. Well, and what comes with all that? I mean, because some preschools are basically daycare,
right?
And then some preschools are doing a curriculum and they're trying to develop certain skills. So, I mean, then do we kind of go down that whole road of, getting your school, classified as a pre-K certified?
Right.
Is there some kind of government money attached to this and standards that must be upheld, and I don't know. It seems like lots of questions
which in some way, above all else, highlights how difficult it is to run a country. Period. Yeah. And to run a country like ours. Maybe remembering how fraught all this stuff is with questions and concerns. Maybe to go back to something we talked about before, maybe if we all remember that when we engage in political conversations, it would help us all to keep the temperature turned down a bit.
Right.
That it's not as simple as any of us, think it is.
There are very few just yes or no.
Right.
Black or white. And you have these questions, the commentators or the interviewers ask politicians questions. I mean, when's the last time you heard a yes or no answer?
That's right, yeah.
From politicians. And I get that. I mean, I understand that a lot of these questions require nuanced answers. You can't just say yes or no. But
yeah, to your point, I've noticed from watching Sunday morning shows or whatever it may be that if someone begins a response to the question with the word look, that means they're going to go a completely different direction and tell you why they're not going to answer your question at all, but make some other point that they really want you to hear.
I also like the question or the answer that begins with, what we really need to talk about, which means I'm not even going to pretend. Yeah, I was going to bring up something my opponent has been doing. Anyway. Yeah, so I think education might be a nice topic to look into about the choices of pre-K. Kindergarten. I mean, I found kindergarten to be a mixed bag. I was happy for my son to go to kindergarten. At times I felt like he's just too young to be doing this. But he was my first, and so I understand that. But then it's kind of like, what are you actually doing here in kindergarten? I mean, what is actually being done here?
So, but now what's the alternative? Like, but I mean to say, just starting school at first grade.
I think there are good things for it. I went to a half day. I know we have several friends whose children do a half day of kindergarten.
Okay.
And ours was a full day.
Yeah.
And the half day kind of gives them a chance to kind of get their feet wet with school and get into the routine of it, but it's not a whole day of... And he'd come home just exhausted.
Would he really?
Oh, yeah. It was great. I mean, he would take a nap as soon as he walked in the door.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, I think this last thing, and then we have a little bit of time left for word association. But I think that with almost anything, you can go too far. I think that I agree with those who say that things like, and please, world or 13 people out there, take no offense to this, but the things like Baby Einstein and playing Mozart to pregnant woman's belly may or may not be great. I think that you can have really smart and well-rounded kids who never watch Baby Einstein. I think that's possible.
It's possible.
I think you can go too far and put too much pressure on yourself.
I mean, it's possible it could be raised by wolves too. So.
That's exactly right. Yeah, Leonidas. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Word association.
A little word association. Now, look, we've played this game every time we've had the episodes.
Yeah.
This is like our 5th time playing.
That's right.
And I still don't know the rules.
There are no rules. I'm gonna say
Outback. Word association
no rules, just
sponsored by Outback. No rules, just right.
Right.
Am I trying to say just the first word that comes to my mind, or just the first
I wouldn't want to
comments?
Limit,
just
I wouldn't.
comments?
I wouldn't want to limit a mine as beautiful and variegated as yours.
Wow, you're too kind.
I know. To just one word. But I know when I say what I'm about to say, something will pop into your head.
Okay, how many words are you going to give
It's
me?
one this time.
Just one word.
Yeah. And so whether it's humorous or if you want to decide beforehand, because I remember from Coldplay, that one you'd pre-chosen.
That worked out really well.
That worked out really well. Yeah, it provided a lot of fodder for, I guess, 2 whole episodes. But no, and even if you want to let it sit for a minute because it hits you.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah,
and we'll
ready.
just see where this goes.
Okay.
Ready.
Yes.
Patino.
Well, obviously Rick Pitino.
Yes.
Louisville.
Okay, because that's where he coaches now.
That's where he is now. Okay. That's what he is now. He used to be the coach at the University of Kentucky, with my favorite sports team in college. Of course, I'm a big basketball fan.
Yep.
I loved Pitino as a Kentucky coach.
Let me stop you there.
Loved him.
Let me stop. Past tense. I hear a D at the end of that word. You loved Pitino.
Well, I mean, I liked him, loved him in that role.
But you don't love him now because...
Well, he's the coach of the rival team. I still like Pitino.
Do you?
Yeah, in fact, before Calipari came back, we had this awful...
And Calipari's at Kentucky now?
Yeah.
I am uninitiated in college basketball.
Welcome to 2013. If Pitino, there was talk when this guy Gillespie was there, who was awful. There was talk about Pitino coming back, even from Louisville, and I'd have taken him.
Yeah.
I liked him. I think he was good for it. And it bothered me a little bit that he went to Louisville. And his way of getting around it was there's no better place to be than Kentucky.
Sure.
Which was kind of still...
Right.
I mean, he loved the state of Kentucky, which I do.
To show you how disengaged I am from the world of college basketball.
You didn't know Louisville was in Kentucky?
No, I was thinking that Tubby Smith might be the coach at Kentucky.
Really?
That's a few years ago, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was it? He was at Kentucky, though.
Yeah, after Patino.
Oh,
but
90s
and then
or early
Tubby
2000s.
left, and there was a guy named Gillespie, and then he basically got drunk all the time, and they fired him. And then John Calipari. So
yeah, I'm not.
I wonder if they considered Calipari for Pope. I wonder if they would.
I don't think he would. He's got more power now.
I mean, he's Italian. He may. Yeah, they often call the basketball coach of Kentucky the King of Kentucky.
Oh, nice.
But there's more perks and more respect for the coach of Kentucky than there is for the governor. They joke.
All right. Well, so you've forgiven Pitino more or less.
Oh, yeah. If I saw Pitino at a restaurant somewhere, I would love to meet him and talk to him. Absolutely.
Sure.
I just don't root for Louisville.
That's fair.
Especially when they play Kentucky.
No, totally. We are Manhands and Meatloaf. Check us out on Twitter at Manhands Podcast, Facebook.com Manhands and Meatloaf, and we are now serving meals fresh from our YouTube channel, man.
YouTube.
My name's Steve. He's Mike. You stop by. We'll see you next time.